Well, new here at 11, some controversial changes could be coming to school sports competitions in South Carolina. A bill banning transgender students from participating in all-girls sports just passed the statehouse. This despite Democrats' tactics to try to stall that legislation. WCNC Charlotte's Brianna Harper shares the voices on both sides of the discussion and what the measure's next steps are.
What you see behind me is a sports field many student athletes would typically play on. And in South Carolina, supporters of the trans athlete bill say the goal is to create an even playing field. The LGBTQ advocates worry that could do more harm than good. It's game time at the South Carolina State House, and House representatives have already made the first score by passing the Save Women's Sports Act with majority Republican support. The current version of the bill includes collegiate and K-12 sports in South Carolina, banning transgender athletes from competing in female sports.
What this does is protect women who have a biological difference to males in a sport that they have competed their whole lives in. So it keeps the playing field fair and level.
But for some, the fear is that fairness could result in discrimination and isolation.
I know firsthand how lonely it feels to grow up as a trans kid in rural South Carolina.
Ivy Hill leads the grassroots organization Gender Benders and works to serve as a voice for those they say are often forgotten.
These trans kids who are being attacked from all angles, to let them know that they're not alone.
A recent study by the CDC showed nationwide 25% of LGBTQ teens attempted suicide in the first half of 2021. Those opposed to the bill in South Carolina believe the constant LGBTQ-focused legislation happening all across the country could be to blame.
If it was introduced anywhere, particularly anywhere near where those students were, that added to the process, and that added to the detriment of the individuals.
Some calling South Carolina's trans athlete proposal unconstitutional, while others argue it's just simple.
Boys should compete against boys and girls should compete against girls.
But that debate will carry on to decide if the bill does become law.
We'll continue to organize and fight this every step of the way.
Now, after passing the State House, the next step is for the bill to go to the Senate subcommittee. And so far, nearly a dozen states have already passed similar legislation. Brianna Harper, WCNC, Charlotte.
So if South Carolina were to ban trans athletes in youth sports, it would join, as you can see, these other states adding similar legislation. Of course, we'll keep an eye on any action with this bill at the State House.